That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years.
Oh no, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, Ching, listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last. They called him Hitler, they call these things. America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball.
You've never seen Sunny this soggy before. Tyrus brought the receipts, Greg Gutfeld brought the sarcasm, and Sunny, well, she caused the collapse. If you thought daytime TV was safe, well, buckle up, because this takedown might just break the table on The View. Sunny Huss just got roasted so hard by Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld that she might sue Fax.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from...
At that familiar table, Sunani host was dressed in righteous indignation, and Channel was prepared to deliver another lecture, as if she were trying out for a position as a professor of performative outrage at Woke University. However, rather than receiving a standing ovation, she walked straight into a reality buffet prepared by Tyrus from a completely different studio and Greg Gutfeld. At one point, she was confidently stating why her opinion was the only one that matters, and at another, the internet transformed her monologue into a meme titled "When Delusion Meets Data."
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate it.
This isn't the first time Sunny has treated her seat on The View like a confession booth. No one asked for it, and the woman has a history of talking like she's recounting the fall of civilization, one brunch menu at a time. However, while Sunny was busy finger-wagging from her talk show throne, Tyrus brought receipts that made her entire narrative look like it was printed on tissue paper. Sunny also forgot to bring sunscreen. Gutfeld didn't even need to enter the building to vaporize her argument.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sunny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a closer election. But when oh no, nothing really comes to mind, I was like, Ching, listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last. They called him Hitler, they call these things. America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling.
Because Sunny is the gatekeeper of legitimate opinions and everyone else is either confused, brainwashed, or tragically uninvited to her book club, she famously proposed that some voters of color simply couldn't understand their own political beliefs unless they aligned with hers. However, the problem with constantly speaking from a moral high horse is that eventually someone will knock the stilts out, and that's exactly what Gutfeld and Tyrus did without ever setting foot on the set. They simply threw one inconvenient truth after another from the sidelines, and Sunny reacted like someone who unintentionally brought a foam bat to a chainsaw duel.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art. of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter. So instead, let's check out this clip from Monday's episode of The View when the ladies put their science caps on and discuss the solar eclipse.
The ease with which the illusion broke under strain was what made this asterisk, the View asterisk moment, so remarkable. With prepared nods, dramatic sighs, and blank eyes, the co-hosts stuck to their script like characters in a play named Asterisk Delusion. The tap dance asterisk. It was a performance rather than a conversation, when criticism is brushed aside and reality is sidestepped with emotive rhetoric and catchphrases.
Oh no, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, shit-ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last. They called them Hitler, they called these things. America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game all the time.
Tyrus and Gutfeld did more than simply join asterisk, the View asterisk. They destroyed it. They turned Sonny's monologue into a frantic shamble by delivering incisive, composed reality checks like seasoned pros, ignoring the show's typical featrix. There was no yelling or mayhem, only precise logical blows that revealed the panel's flimsy script. The outcome? A rare instance of unintentional honesty on daytime television and a surprise, silent table.
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect this patriarchy here because it's to their benefit.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing.
Is people have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say in The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. So, but the problem with her is that she went full racist.
Full of passion but lacking in statistics, Sunny launched into her typical ferocious, fact-free tirade about crime and policing. Gutfeld then intervened, sardonic, cool, and armed with statistics, giving a vicious one-liner about elites using private security to lobby for police defunding. The audience fell silent as he spoke, and Sunny appeared in disbelief. The script and her argument vanished in an instant.
It's not even that. In The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sunny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? Broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican.
Tyrus gently presented hard data on violence in underfunded cities before exposing the hypocrisy of celebrities who advocate for community safety while employing off-duty police officers. He spoke with ease, as if he had said it 100 times to individuals who were too preoccupied with TikTok to give a damn. The tone of asterisk, the View asterisk, changed to complete damage control after Gutfeld delivered the knockout remark. Sunny fumbled with nebulous talking points, but it was obvious. Tyrus had sealed her case with calm, shattering reality after it had just burst on national television.
The problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show, or man, that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals and values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day, that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Sunny's polished media narrative was sliced like a dagger by Tyrus's unvarnished, street-level truth. He not only questioned her opinions, but also revealed the privilege that underlies them, making it clear to everyone that she is not at all like the working class that she purports to represent. He destroyed her reputation with a single composed statement. "You don't speak for people in the trenches when your biggest concern is brunch with Ana Navarro." Joy panicked, Sunny froze, and the View descended into quiet mayhem.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Sunny made her typical move, going from self-described academic to instant victim when the facts were too much to bear. She complained that Tyrus and Gutfeld were provocative after they revealed indisputable facts. Let's face it though, Sunny started the fire and pretended to be innocent when it got too hot. As long as no one hits back, she's okay throwing punches. The moment she is contested, the argument shifts to victimization, and the moral superiority she maintains is undermined.
So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull.
The audience couldn't decide whether to hide, clap, or cringe. Sunny's tantrum, meantime, went viral and was mocked on social media as a representation of self-righteousness that was broken by honest conversation. However, the View chose to act as though it had never happened, focusing on celebrity rumors and yoga dogs as if nothing had happened. No accountability, no mention, just traditional gaslighting in full force.
Of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny, she is so wrapped up in identity and she had no idea.
This is why it matters. The View is not only cheesy, it is a textbook echo chamber where panelists pretend to speak for the working class from their media bubbles and emotions take the place of facts. Tyrus and Gutfeld revealed the entire hoax, not just Sunny. Her breakdown was more than simply a personal failure. It served as a public reminder that emotional outbursts and smugness are temporary ways to avoid facing reality. At last, reality had its moment in the conflict between contrived anger and truth, and it was beautiful.